Hi there everyone, my name is Lian Hughes and my presentation will discuss the position of a correctional officer. For this project, I was able to speak with Lieutenant Neil Engerson from the Arizona Department of Corrections. To begin, I want to discuss the minimum and preferred qualifications for this position, which were noted to me by Lieutenant Engerson. The qualifications for this position are that you need to either have a high school diploma or a GED, be 18 years of age at least, have no felony convictions. Applicants are required to show proof of legal residency, and there is some preliminary testing that you're required to pass, which I will talk about in just a second. When asked what happens during the interview process, Engerson 2019 mentioned that there isn't necessarily an interview process, rather a selection process, and if an applicant makes it through these stages, then they might be offered a position. As mentioned by the Arizona Department of Corrections 2019, the process goes as followed. Applicants are required to take a written exam, which consists of 60 multiple choice questions. They also are subject to a psychological exam as well as a medical or physical exam. They must also pass a drug screening as well as a fitness test. As mentioned on the Arizona Department of Corrections website 2019, the written exam includes 60 multiple choice questions that cover a person's ability to recall detail, follow instructions, their field knowledge, and reading comprehension. Once this is passed, an applicant is given a conditional job offer. Applicants are also given a background questionnaire that serves as a psychological exam to determine their mental capacity for the job. According to the Arizona Department of Corrections 2019, there are various medical tests that an applicant must pass in order to become a correctional officer. Some of these things include being free of contagious and infectious conditions, having at least 20/50 vision, having a resting pulse rate of less than or equal to 100 beats per minute. Applicants must also pass a hearing test, take a blood test, and also a urinalysis to examine things like proteins and glucose. These are just a few of the many medical requirements that an applicant must meet in order to become a correctional officer. Being physically prepared for this position is crucial. As per the Arizona Department of Corrections, an applicant must pass a fitness test. In order to pass, the applicant is tested for things like eye-hand coordination. In addition, they must do 20 squats in 1 minute and 50 seconds. They must also take a sit and reach test, complete at least 16 sit-ups in 1 minute and 4 push-ups in 1 minute. They also must do a step test and complete a 1-mile run in 17 minutes. As well, they must do a job-specific training circuit that involves lifting a 50-pound bag for specified amounts of time. As Engerson 2019 pointed out, history of drug use is one of the biggest hurdles to employment in corrections. The Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board has specific standards as to what's considered experimental drug use and won't get you disqualified. However, in addition to qualify, a person could not have illegally used marijuana within 3 years or any dangerous drug or narcotic for 7 before applying for this position. Engerson 2019 was vague on the topic of issues facing the corrections field. However, he did mention that the most common stressor lies in the job itself. He said the most reported stressor is actually not being able to discuss stresses in order to cope. Fin 2000 lists some of the major stressors as understaffing, working overtime, threat of inmate violence, actual inmate violence, inmate demands, poor public image, and low pay. With this, it has been suggested that stress programs should be established to address the topic of stressors. This way, officers within the field can talk to other officers in the field who understand what they're going through, and this can help them in the healing process. So some important things to know when choosing a career are things like salary and benefits. For a correctional officer in Arizona, the salary starts at $36,207 during training, and then raises by $1,133 after completing the academy. As per the Arizona Department of Corrections website, some benefits include medical and dental coverage. You also get 10 paid holidays, 12 vacation days, and 12 sick days per year, as well as a retirement plan. They also will distribute 21 hours of college credit after the academy is completed, as well as tuition reimbursement. Lieutenant Anderson 2019 mentioned that 9 out of 10 of the Arizona state prisons are currently hiring. The only one that is not currently hiring is the Yuma State Prison. You can start the application process on the Arizona Department of Corrections website and begin your testing from there. Lieutenant Anderson 2019 stressed that in order to prepare for going into this field, an applicant should know how to speak with a variety of people. He mentioned that ultimately, communication is the most important tool we have in the prison system. I was curious to see as to whether Lieutenant Anderson thought it should be a requirement for correctional officers to have a degree. To this, he said not necessarily. He did mention that having an advanced education is always a good thing, but most important is the field experience. What I've learned from my research and my interview is that early preparation is key. This job has some requirements that someone would need to work on for potentially years, so that's something to think about before getting into this field. Working on your people skills is a helpful tool as communication can make or break your position in the corrections system. Other than a formal education, field experience is beneficial to gain in order to get real life experiences. Lastly, a person should know the drawbacks of this position. It's both mentally and physically challenging, and not everyone is cut out for that. Thanks everyone for listening. I look forward to listening to everyone else's presentations. I hope this helps some people out on learning the requirements for becoming a correctional officer.